Welcome to the Shannon Atchison Show, real business talk for real life. I'm Shannon, creative business coach, digital product lover, and your strategy sidekick. I've built a business that fits my life, and now I help other women do the same. No hustle, no fluff, just smart, honest conversations about building a business that works for you. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to the show. I am so excited to have my friend Daune Pitman here from Cottage in the Oaks and a bunch of other things. But I'm so excited to have her here. We met a long time ago at a conference. And anyways, I'm just so excited to have you here, Daune. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, I'm so excited to just chat about all things business and what you've been doing.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So I will start. For anybody who doesn't know you, you can do this better than I can. Can you just give an introduction of yourself and sort of, what you do now? And we'll sort of go backwards and come forwards again after that, but just an introduction of who you are.
Absolutely. I'm Daune Pitman with the Cottage Table Experience. My husband and I were professional ballet dancers before we started our family. And so we've always been artists, creatives, and the creative lifestyle, just living creatively in every area of life is super important to us. And so we love to invite other people in and have them be beauty chasers with us and create with us. So we host creative retreats. We have art and creative workshops here at our cottage in Eastern North Carolina. And then I also teach online courses as well.
That is so awesome. I love that. And so, so all of those things, and sorry, Cottage in the Oaks is stuck in my head, but a Cottage Table Experience is more the business side of things, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Anyways, many years ago when I started my blog, we named our house Oak Cottage.
Yeah.
So when I started the blog, that's really what I wanted to call it, and it was taken. And so I took Oak Cottage and I was like, Cottage in the Oaks. And so that kind of ended up being the blog and like my handles and that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's funny how that works, eh?
Yes.
Mine, I've had a couple different ones over the years too, just because what's available and where you're at, right? So, okay, so Cottage in the Oaks started because of Oak Cottage, but how did you first get started? Because we met like in Atlanta, I think, at Haven Conference, like 12 years ago, quite a while ago, right? It's been a while. But how did you first get started in blogging and sort of creating online? Because I know you were, a ballet before and stuff, but then how did you get started with blogging and stuff online? Because I know you do stuff in person now, but initially, how did that start?
Well, I think I started blogging maybe about 12 to 15 years ago, and really the impetus that got me to start blogging was we had started our family, and we used to spend 16 to 18 hours a day creating all day long and performing, and so we weren't spending that many hours a day doing that. So all that creative energy went somewhere, and a lot of it went into just our home, our day-to-day life, just how we did things, how we traveled, how we lived. And we were forever looking back, we would have done something, and then we would go, oh, I wish we could remember how it was before we did the something. And we didn't have pictures, and we didn't have, we only had just kind of sort of what we could remember. So really the blog started as just an online personal journal. And we would just document whatever we were doing creatively in anything in our life. It might have been with our home, it might have been with gatherings, anything. And it's just where it was just became an online journal where we had pictures and we're just documenting things along the way, kind of thing.
Yeah. So it really didn't start as a business initially.
No.
It was like the traditional like blog, like
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did
love
not
that.
make any money from it, even as it grew.
Okay, fair. No, I mean, that's you know what? Everybody takes like such a different route to things, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, of ours started with a lot of the same before and after because we were doing a lot of
Right.
renos and stuff. But
Hmm.
it was from on my part, like the Homemade Lovely, the original one, like that was a business on purpose, but it was
Yes.
also a journal. So I totally
Right.
get that. There's tons of people who started around that same time because yeah, I've been doing this for 15 years too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I like that. So you weren't treating it as a business. Did you ever treat sort of the blog part of things as a business, or you rolled into other things, right? Because I know you have like, you've got courses and retreats and like all these things now. So how did
Yes.
that sort of come about?
Well, eventually down the road, I started because I was blogging. This is hard to believe when I think back on it. 5 days a week.
Yes, I remember.
And it was, I was always sharing what we were doing and then also how someone else could do it. Like if they wanted
Hmm.
to do what we were doing or to be inspired. And then I did get to the point I was like, oh, my goodness, I'm working really hard on this. I should,
Yeah.
even though I'm enjoying it because I love to write, I love to share, I love to bring people along for experiences. And so it did start entering into a business more as a blog. But that was also during the season when blogs exploded.
Hmm.
And there were just tens of thousands, there were so many of them.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it was almost, blogs are still great. I mean, I do still blog. That's part of my business, but
Right.
I never went hardcore in. I did start thinking about it a little more like a business, but I never fully jumped in. To me, it became a springboard. Um, really reminding me of all the things that I love to do and that I'm passionate about.
Mm.
And it was all of those things,
Yeah.
not so much the blog, but that led into things that are definitely a business.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is something that happened. Blogs initially did start out as like that journaly thing. Even those of us who start that journaly thing, but you know what I mean, like the online, journal. And even those of us who did go into it like hardcore as a business, it has changed again
Yes.
now that it's so because when we started, like social media wasn't such a big thing. There was Facebook. But I
Right.
mean, I think Pinterest was either didn't exist or was a baby, like when we
Yes.
started. Instagram definitely wasn't a thing. So, like, the blog was where you shared everything, right? Like, that
Yes.
was it. And then we sort of went away from that and shared a lot on social media and then had like the actual projects on the blog, a lot of people. And then it's sort of come back around again where like it's so much more about like, I'm going to say personal brand, but like, about who you are and where people like how people can connect with you too,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it's not
Yes.
necessarily the business part of it anymore,
Right.
right?
Yes.
I think a lot has changed in sort of come around
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So business wise, what was like the first thing that you did? Was it a course like on your own thing? Was it an in-person thing? Was it a course for someone else? What was the first thing that you did that was like, okay, I can make money doing this?
Yes. Well, it was a little combination. I think they kind of all started at the same time. For many years, I had been teaching workshops here in our home,
Okay, yeah.
all kinds of creative workshops, whether it was creative home, gathering, art,
Hmm.
and but I never really put that out online because, like you said, there really wasn't social media, and
Yeah.
so I was doing, and mainly just the people that knew about it were local.
Right.
Those were the people that were local, and as online presence grew,
Yeah.
and you started realizing, oh, it opens a new world, as
Hmm.
these things change. And I'm a little bit of a rebel. I saw
No.
everybody, I saw everybody turning their blog into a business,
Yeah.
and I will never forget. I when I do something, I do it 200%. I don't
Okay.
ever halfway do anything.
Okay.
Means when I do something good, it's really, really good. That also means when I make a mistake, it's really big. So,
Yeah.
it depends on how you look at it. But
Yeah.
um, I would go to the conferences and I would go to all these classes because I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it the right way. And it was SEO and it was all these things that were not creative,
A little soul
that
sucking.
literally felt like
Yeah.
someone was pouring acid on my skin.
Yeah.
I didn't want to think that way, even though I knew I could acknowledge those things were important.
Right.
Those weren't the things I wanted to spend my day thinking about.
Right.
So I think a little bit of that kept me from jumping full in to
Yeah.
making the blog a business. But what it did push me into is thinking about other things that could be a business. And as things changed, as we gained social media and other avenues, I was like, oh, we could offer these workshops to people that are not just local,
Yeah.
or these classes that I'm teaching in person. Well, gosh, they would be great as an online class,
Right.
which is wonderful because that becomes evergreen, residual
Yes.
income. Because once you record that class
Yeah.
and edit it and upload it, there's that main big launch that is all the big hoopla, which
Yeah.
is a big portion of the sale of it. But then it stays there forever and ever, and for years and years and years, it can sell and it's
Hmm.
available.
Right.
And so I started seeing those kind of things and how wise that was. And they were a part of things I love to do. Um, and when it was something that I really, really love to do, I'm willing to take a look at those things I don't like to do. Like the things that are important, like being
Yeah.
on SEO is super important. Your website is super important, all of those things. But, that motivation when I was doing something that I could see was successful as well as I loved doing it, it's like, okay, I'm willing to look at these other things because I love doing this so much.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that's
yeah,
fair. I feel like SEO is one of those things like I resisted for a really long time, and then when I started doing it and then everything changed and I was like, well, why did I bother? Like
yes.
it was one of those,
Well,
it was like a soul-sucking kind of
It,
awful
it
thing to have to
was, and
do.
that's
Yeah.
that's how I felt. I was like, "This is sucking the life out of me." But at the time when we started, there were no SEO people,
Mm-mm.
or these people or these people. Like, if you wanted it done, you had to learn about it and do it all yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's so wonderful. Now, I still don't like SEO.
Yeah. No. It's
I
not my
don't,
favorite.
my brain doesn't think that way. I don't
Yeah.
want to think that way. However, I acknowledge how important it is.
Yeah.
But now there are people that are amazing at that, and that's their passion, and they love it. And
Mm.
we can plug into those people and say, help me,
Yeah.
and kind of delegate some things that I don't think we could delegate anything in the beginning.
No. No, there was really no. I think the longest serving like the longest person I've worked with is Gretchen Louise, who like looks after some of my tech stuff, like on the background, like stuff I won't dare
Right.
touch, like that I never learned. Right, like I go
Yes.
into like PHP and I'm lost, and I get like white screen of death, like but you had to do it yourself, and so
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
so, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I remember too, like ad stacking myself, like Becky Ferrant taught me from Inherently Creative. I don't know if you remember her. Like, she taught me
Yeah.
how to like waterfall ads, like before the ad networks came out. Like,
Right.
there was nobody to do that stuff that you
No.
didn't want to do. Oh my goodness! Thank goodness there is now. I tell you. So did you sort of know when the time was right to shift? Like, so you said you did online courses in addition to like the in-person courses, but now you also have, destination, like, I'm going to say destination retreats is like, I
Yeah. They
keep
are
calling them something
retreats.
else.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how did you know when you were ready to do stuff like that, or when people were ready to do that? Were people asking you? Was it something you just went, oh, I'm going to try this? Like, how did you get to that place of pivoting from in person locally and online to the destinations?
Right. Well, It seems like the cottage table experience has really evolved just out of mine and Keith's life.
Okay.
It was not something that we sat down and we planned out the whole thing, had a business plan, and then said, okay, let's do it.
Right.
It has evolved as the seasons of our life have evolved, as we've just tried to stay in tune, what we love to do, what we're passionate about, what
Mm-hmm.
lights us up. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as the retreats are part of a vision that we started several years ago. And the beginning of that vision is we love gathering people around the table
Mm-hmm.
for meals, for coffee, for snacks, for creating. Just spending time at the table is important to us. We both grew up in art families, um,
Mm.
and very creative families and big gatherers. And we were that way with our family, but we were noticing our society is really, our culture is getting away from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, what started is 8 years ago, we started a weekly long table meal here at our home. That is not a business,
Yeah.
and that is called the Cottage Table
Okay.
because we live in a cottage, and no one pays for that. No one brings anything. They do have to sign up, but
Mm-hmm.
every week they come for a long table meal, and we sit here for a couple of hours. We have a good meal, and it's great community and just the stories and the laughter. And that was kind of the beginning of that vision. There are areas in the world that Keith and I have amazing friends and community. And those areas are just so amazing at hospitality and spending time at the table
Mm-hmm.
and having that be a priority. So, the long range of that vision is we wanted to bring people back to the table.
Okay.
And yes, what happens in our home every week is the beginning of that and an important part of that, but not a business.
Right.
But the extension of that is we wanted to gather people in these places that are like a second home to us and that are so important to us,
Yeah.
and that literally in their DNA, gathering at the table, whether it's creating or eating, it's just part of their day. It's not something that they have to be intentional about, and to be able to take people there, not as a tourist, not
Mm-hmm.
as a travel trip, not as a tour, but for
Okay.
them to spend a week with us in these places and feel like for that week they live there and
Yeah.
they're truly experiencing, they're meeting our friends and spending time in their homes and their studios and doing workshops with them. And we're taking them around to the places that are special to us, which are usually not the tourist
Right.
spots. And so it truly is an experience. That's also where the name came from. We call our weekly meals the cottage table.
Right.
And then for the longest time, for years, as we were talking about we knew eventually we wanted to be able to invite people to join us, in Italy, in France, in New York City, in
Yeah.
Vermont, in different places.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a name for it. And so we referred to it as Cottage Table on the Road.
Okay.
That was between Keith and I.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, we would call it that, and eventually I was like, "We cannot call that. This cannot be the name of this." And so, as we were just thinking about, well, what is it? What are we inviting people into? And it truly is. We love to invite people into beautiful experiences.
Mm-hmm.
We've always felt like, with our children as gifts, we always would rather give them experiences
Yeah.
over things.
Yeah.
That's always been big in our family. So experiences are just such a big deal because I think those are such a big investment in our memory banks
Yeah.
and just, the stories of our lives. So that is the cottage table experience. Is
Right.
where that came from. And so it really, a lot of what we do has grown very organically.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we do decide to do something or add something to what we're doing, we are very intentional about it.
Right.
But I always like to tell people I love ideas, and I love to help other people see their ideas come into
Mm.
fruition, to step into that. I think we have to be willing to move forward without certainty, and
Mm.
we've become in a place in our culture where it's like we're not going to do anything unless we're sure,
Yeah.
or we know all the details,
Yeah.
or we have the whole plan.
Right.
And what's so funny is you realize I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 6.
Oh my goodness.
I have
I
that
didn't know
spirit
that.
of I've
Yeah.
always owned my own business. I mean, even
Yeah.
as a teenager in college and beyond. And one of the biggest things is I've learned is we only fool ourselves if we ever get to the point that we think we have it all figured out and we've got the whole plan.
Right. Yeah.
Because, it's not ever going to be like all those lovely drawings and lists that we put down on the paper. That
Yeah.
can be a great skeleton, but we have to be willing to move forward without certainty,
Yeah.
and also be flexible that sometimes what we thought this was going to be for actually takes us in a new direction that's even better than what we thought,
It's
um, you
true.
know, in the first, when we were first thinking about it.
Yeah. And I think that really settling in and knowing that comes from some years of experience, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
of knowing that that's how it works because it's happened that way,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like looking
Yes.
backwards, you can see how, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, I think that comes with it with a bit of experience. But if anybody's listening who doesn't have that experience,
Yes. Yes.
try to remember that for sure. Yeah, no, it's true.
And
So
there's
did
so
you?
many things that we're doing now that I'm
Yeah.
thinking we could have been doing this a long time ago,
Okay.
but we didn't. We weren't at that point. And I also think that, it was some of that, well, we don't have that all figured out yet. So that kind of has to be tabled or it has to go on the back burner.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair because there's a little bit of I mean, I think if you've been an entrepreneur for a long time, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I think there is some of that just in us, right? Like that's
Right.
just who we were created to be. That's part of our DNA, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Yes.
But I think we do get a little um I don't know how to describe it, but like a little bit of that, oh, I don't have like fearful, I guess. Like I don't have it figured out, so I better not do that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but looking back, it's like, oh, I could have started sooner
Yeah.
for so many
Yeah.
things. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
And then I think on the flip side of that, and it's equally as I guess you could say paralyzing as far as business or growing or stepping into what you're supposed to do, is if you have done something for a long time or been an entrepreneur for a long time, fooling yourself into thinking that you already know this, and so
Yeah.
um, that too keeps you from moving forward. you
It's
know.
true. It's true. Because I think, yeah, like being an entrepreneur, it's always learning new things. It's
Yes.
always figuring
Yes.
out new things. And I think that one of the other things I think a lot of people who you know, are the audience for this podcast, I think a lot of it is bloggers who have really struggled in the last couple of years when things have
Yeah.
changed so very much.
Right.
um, and let the sort of the quote unquote failure, even though it's not a failure,
Right.
sort of get the best of them and not move on, right? And
Yes.
not be like, okay, I can pivot or I can do something else, like
Yeah.
I can add on.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and just plugging in. No matter how independent we are or strong-willed, not that that would be me at all, but um, as I say this, like those are two
yeah,
things that are often, I'm independent and strong-willed. But no matter how independent we are, or we may think we are, we need other people. We need community,
yeah,
and we can learn so much from other people, as well as being a part of a creative network or a small group to where you have objective voices coming in and cheering you on and
yeah,
encouraging you and seeing things from a different viewpoint when you're stuck in a spot, like you said, if you know bloggers that it's been so frustrating and they feel like, where do I go from here, or I'm stuck
hmm
here and I don't know how to grow out of this kind of thing.
yeah. And I think it's really easy to get sort of um, I don't know, like a hermit, like sort of turn into yourself when,
Yeah.
especially if things aren't going well, right? Because you're like, well, I
Right.
don't have anything positive to share. Things are just
Right.
whatever. Or, I mean, for me, I'm an introvert. So like I'm okay this way,
Yes.
but
Right.
like in a room full of people, it's hard. And I
Yes.
think I just end up feeling like I am doing things by myself, right? Like, especially the last few years, right? Because things were weird and whatever. And then
Yeah.
I wrote a couple of books in that time. So that's kind of a solo job,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So community, I love that reminder that community is so important and to
Yeah.
make sure that you stay in community with
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
And whatever any of us are struggling with at any given time, I think it's so easy, and I think this is universal, to feel like you're the only one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you look out there, and because we are in an online world,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of what we do in these businesses are online. Well, naturally, we're not putting online our horrible days or what we're struggling with or what we're frustrated with, because that's not what you do. And that's also not what people want to see. It's kind of
Right.
like, people would always say when I was doing a blog, I would hear people say, "Oh, well, all bloggers just make their houses look like magazines or whatever." And I'm like, "Well, do you really want to pick up a magazine and see dust bunnies and dirty
Right. I
underwear on the
know.
cover? Like,
Yeah.
did you pay for, like, is that what you're paying for?" So, but
Yeah.
when everything these days is put online, it is everyone sharing their best,
Right.
where they are. Not that they're not being authentic, but naturally you don't put those things that you're really, really
Yeah.
struggling with.
You
And so
filter out
it
those things.
makes it
Yeah.
really easy to look like everybody's doing great or nobody else is having this problem except for me.
Right.
So what is wrong? What have I missed? What is fault?
Yeah. It's such a
Whereas it's
tricky
not
thing.
true.
Yeah, no, it's such a tricky thing because like sharing some of that stuff online isn't necessarily the best option. Not just that
Right.
people don't
Right.
necessarily want to see it, but like it's not necessarily a safe space for sharing certain
Exactly.
things.
Exactly.
But then when that's what you're looking at all the time is everybody else's like perfection
Mhm.
or like not perfection, but even just like their best days or their
Right.
highlight reel as they call it, right? Like
Yes.
it's hard. It is hard to remember that. So I think it's such a good reminder
Mhm.
to be real with people in real life too, right?
Yes.
Like spend time
Yes.
with
To have
people.
that community, you can say,
Yeah.
this is going haywire, or
Yeah.
this isn't, what am I missing? Or to have that group that is safe. And it doesn't need to be
Hmm.
a big group,
No.
even just two or three people that
Hmm.
they will understand, but you can share with, you can bounce ideas off of. They'll hold you accountable.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Yes. Yes, it is. No, that's so true. So, looking at all the different things you've done, and you do not have to be like specific as like how much money you're making or anything like that. I don't mean that. What is sort of as far as business perspective goes, because I know you love like you're creative, so you love the things that you do. But like, what has been sort of the best return on your investment as far as like what you've created from a business perspective?
I would have to say online courses
Okay.
and the in-person workshops.
Okay. Yeah.
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 But I would probably have to say overall, if I had to pick one aspect, it would be the online courses.
Yeah. And that's because of the sort of record it, like create it, record it once, and then it's available?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's such a smart business model. It makes sense. That totally makes sense. So, what part of your business lights you up the most right now? Like, what are you most excited about of the things that you're doing in your business?
Definitely the in-person
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
And the workshops that we do here at our home, we love to gather people.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the retreats. They are so very special. Most people, when they're leaving, they're like, this has literally been life changing, which is very validating for us because that's really what we want to invite people into.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two things that I love the most because they are in person. I'm such an in person person.
Okay.
Does
Yeah.
that make
No, that's great. No, that's good.
And I'm an extrovert, but I'm an extrovert that also I have to have my by myself time, you
Okay.
know, to, but we both, Keith and I, love to gather people and
Yes.
be with people and um, invite them into beauty and encourage them and
Hmm.
share the things that we love. So
Yeah.
those would be the two
Yeah,
biggest things.
yeah. I'm getting all these flashes of like all the pictures I've seen of like the table and stuff like over the years, like when you've shared it. I'm like, you've done stuff. You did. I'm like, there's one out. You did some outside too, did you not? I feel
We
like.
do a lot outside. Yeah, we
Yeah.
do outside and inside. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And then the long table inside. Yeah.
Yeah. We actually rearranged our home and the part of our home that was actually built to be the dining room is our den living room, and the part of our house that was meant to be the living room is our dining room so we could have a longer table.
Yeah. It's been that way for a while, no?
It has, I think, about
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. We had done that at our last house too, because the dining area was quite small
Yeah.
and then the living area was much longer, so we could put a longer table in there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, do what works, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And also, I don't know, as we're talking about this, I can see how that can so be a good example for business. So we go
Mm,
into these homes that we buy or that we build or whatever, and it's like this room is this room is this room is this, and we just think of it that way, and we even put our rooms in a box.
yes.
Forgetting that home is ours. We can switch those rooms. They can be whatever we want to be. Like
Yeah.
we have a room that was a bedroom, it's now a library. And
Mm,
I mean, and we've switched the dining room and the living room. And to remind ourselves we can do the same thing with our business. When we
yeah.
feel like we're at a point, it's like, oh, I've always thought I have to do it this way or do this.
Hmm.
What is something that could come out of that box?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
take it in a different direction.
Which is, yeah, it's such a good visual, but such a good lesson. Because I think some people, several people I know have switched rooms or whatever, but such a good lesson, yeah, because we get stuck in these ruts of what we think. Like,
Right.
I think one of those things is bloggers. We think that that's all it is, right? We are a blogger and this is how we make money, this is how we run things, we make it from
Mhm.
ads, and that's all there is. When there are so many different ways, or just SEO is the only way to get people
Right.
looking at your stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, there are so many other options and so many other things.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think your audience responds to most? Do you think it's the connection, teaching that you do, transformation, or something else, or all of the above combination?
Well, I think it is a combination, but I would say connection
Yeah. Yeah,
would
fair.
be number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that absolutely makes sense. Okay. So we sort of touched on this about that there are other options and other ideas, but if another creative business owner is listening to this and they're sort of wondering how to add new income streams like you have, like lots of other people have, what advice would you give them about where to start with adding different income streams?
I think the best place to start is to really take a big look at yourself and like what you just asked me, what lights you up?
Yeah.
What do you get excited about? What do you know? And
Mm,
what are you good at that there are other people out there that would love to learn or to be invited into that?
right.
And
Yeah.
to start there
Yeah.
and just to get out of that box because it's interesting, most of the people I know now, that I've been a part of creative masterminds with and that kind of thing, we kind of all started a long time ago with a blog, and we still have that blog, but there are no ads, we're not a blogger anymore,
Right.
even though we have a blog and we will blog, I mean, put stuff on it.
Right.
But really, we have our businesses have grown in new and different directions, and we really just use the blog to support that new business.
Right. sort of for marketing or
Yes,
for
marketing
connecting.
as and it's a great way for your audience to get to know you personally. That you get
Hmm.
to share behind the scenes stuff and your day-to-day life or those kind of things, which really that's really what people are connecting to. They
Yeah.
want to know really that big corporation model that has been around for so long. Not that it's not still out there, but you'll even notice the huge corporations are actually trying to be smaller.
Yeah.
They're trying to appear smaller. They want to connect relationally
Yeah.
with their audience and everyone out there. And I think a lot of times those of us that are smaller, we're not giant corporations. We can get it in our head that we're supposed to be trying to be a big corporation.
Hmm.
That's what's going to work, but that's really not what people want.
Yeah.
And so a blog, even as you branch out and do other things, is a big part of that connection and being able to share things in different ways, as well as to promote your heart behind and
Hmm.
whatever else, whatever you're doing in those
Right.
other sections. Yeah.
Right. And I think, yeah, that's something that I've realized in the last little while is personal, like what you would call personal brand, right? Like people will connect so much more with that. And I
Yeah.
think that's why like big companies will do like a spokesperson or whatever, right? Because there's
Mhm.
some person to connect with.
Right.
And so I think that's really come back around to that a
Yeah.
lot. I think we sort of lost it a little bit, a lot of us, for a while trying to be the bigger,
Right.
step back and be the bigger company kind of thing, or the
Yeah.
media company or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the connection for sure. So then how do you decide? So you said you're like 200% into things when you start something. So how do you decide then, and as a creative person, because I know personally I have like a million and one ideas and I can't possibly tackle them all in my lifetime, never mind at the same time. So how do you personally decide what's worth pursuing and what's sort of just going to be a distraction and not sort of lead you where you want to go?
Yeah, that is such a good question, a good thing to think about because, Keith tells everybody, he told our kids as they got older and they could drive, he said, if you get your mom a tea after 4 p.m., you will be grounded. Because caffeine greatly affects me.
Yeah, me too.
And after a certain time of day, if I have caffeine, I mean, I am up all night. I could rule the world.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not bouncing off the walls, but I'm like,
yeah.
I already am thinking and have a lot of ideas all the time. And then I have caffeine, and at 2 in the morning, I'm jiggling Keith saying, hey, are you asleep? I have an idea. An
Yes.
idea, a new idea. So, yeah,
I
that
literally
can
drink
be,
coffee 3 days a week, and that's it because
yeah.
I can't handle the caffeine.
And I think that is any creative. There is no lack of ideas. Um, and I think our ideas alone can be a distraction because we have
Yeah.
so many. And
Hmm.
and we can even have so many good ones, but we weren't meant to do every one of our ideas. And I
Mm.
know for me personally, I'm old school and analog. I like real books. I like pen and paper, even though I'll use the bells and whistles that we have available, but I
Yeah.
still want pen and paper.
Yeah.
Um, Writing things down as well as talking them out with
Mm.
someone, which where that small community comes from. Keith and I will talk things out, but sometimes as I talk things out, hearing them out loud,
Yeah.
I don't even need a response from anybody. I can say, no, that would be stupid. What in the world? I mean, in my head, that was great, but now that I hear myself saying
Yeah.
it, what? That no.
Yeah.
And then sometimes as I talk things out, they actually evolve and I get
Mm.
even more excited about them. And just to weed those things out, that even though they might be a great idea, they aren't for you.
Hmm.
Or at least not for now or
Right.
whatever it is, and to just be able to get it out. I think as creators, it's really easy for us to stay in our head, and that's
Hmm.
where we start spinning in those creative circles that is all ideas but never do.
Yes.
You know, where
Yes.
we have idea, oh my goodness. And then you realize I haven't done anything. Like I haven't
Mhm.
stepped forward into anything. So I really
Yeah.
think our own ideas can be a huge distraction
Right.
if we let them.
Right. So then talking them out
Yeah.
loud with other people is what sort of helps you decide what's
Yeah, writing them down
writing them down, right?
you know, and then and talking them out with I know that's what helps me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
weed out that you know, the things that no, that's not good or hey, this I think would be a really neat thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. We around here when the weather's nice, we have porch coffee, and many decisions have been
Oh,
made having porch coffee while we have our coffee and just chat out ideas,
yes.
right? Like so
Yes.
talking about things for sure, writing things down for sure. And then so how do you with all those ideas then, this was the question that came to my brain. How do you with all the ideas, and I know you talk them out, but then how do you make sure that you're not just what you said, because the ideas are exciting, right? Like the thinking of
Yes.
ideas and just the possibilities with them are so exciting. How do you then make yourself like step out and take the action and do the action? Like, is there sort of a process or a, I don't know. How do you then just actually do the work?
Well, I think for me, once I get to the point like, oh, this is a really good idea, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then not thinking about the other ideas, like intentionally. And
Right.
then it really is just choosing to be intentional
Okay.
and focusing on whatever that is and then breaking it down, reverse engineering things. I think reverse engineering anything, especially in the creative world, if we're gonna as a business,
Right.
is so valuable because we always think of the idea and try to work up to what it'll actually be. Whereas I think it's great to cast vision
Mm-hmm.
and to have that big vision, like whatever that big vision is, and then reverse engineer it backward to say, okay, well, where do we start to be able to start working toward that? Because nothing happens overnight or
Yeah.
even over week or
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
And then I think, you know, putting yourself, and this just really takes intentionality. It doesn't happen by magic. Like you just have to decide to do it.
Yeah.
You know, once you have that great new idea and you're like, I really want to do this, and start that reverse engineering and figuring things out to put yourself on things have to go on the calendar and then you've
Mm.
got to start giving okay by this date I need this accomplished or by this date I need to have contacted or moved forward or whatever it is
Mm.
that
Mm.
might be happening to contact these people or do this. I need to be at this point and holding yourself accountable. And then
Mm.
if you do have that good creative mastermind group type of thing,
Yeah.
saying it out loud to them, and because then you've got other people that you know when you meet
Mm-hmm.
next month, hey, have you
Uh-huh.
accomplished
Yes.
this and this? How's that going or
Yes.
whatever? And then you're
Yes.
just like, oh, you know, well, yeah.
It's
But
so true. Yeah.
having that outside source being
Yeah.
able to follow up and check on you and along the way there are going to be hurdles whatever it is no matter what we do no matter how long we do it there's hurdles things
Mm-hmm.
change things get frustrating there's discouragement and it's good to have someone, you know, whether that's your spouse, your best friend, your creative community, saying, okay, so this is where you are right now, but you know, you've been here before, this has happened before, so you just got to get past this, you know, just to be able to affirm and, you know, call out those things that you're good at and
Right.
that
It's
you just have
true.
to get over this hurdle.
Yeah. Yeah. We do get so much in our own heads. Sometimes I
Yes,
feel like
yes,
in a good way for all the ideas and their
yes,
creativity, but then in a not so good way sometimes
right,
when we're our own worst enemy.
yes.
Yes. So, what is next for you and Cottage in the Oaks, Cottage Table Experience, all of that? Is there new stuff coming that you can share? Is there you've got a next retreat coming, I guess, or experience coming.
Well, we just started releasing our retreats for next year, and soon we'll release our spring workshops that we're going to
Okay.
be having here at our cottage. And right now, there isn't a new avenue, like something brand new that we're doing outside of the online courses, the workshops and retreats that we're already doing. But I feel like what we've really been working on this year is to hone those things that we are already doing.
Okay.
We've had a wonderful response, and which is always great.
Yeah.
But sometimes when some things go gangbusters, that looks great, and it is. But like we realized, we have had we've now done 15 creative retreats,
Okay.
and we have a couple more this year, and then we're working on next year's. But what was really on our heart and what we saw this year is we want to make them smaller.
Okay.
Which you would think usually in business is always about bigger.
Yeah.
But bigger is
Mhm.
not always more valuable or even profitable. You
Mhm.
know, and we just realized for what we love, and I think what people really get the most out of our offerings, which is connection
Yeah.
and special experiences. We see the difference between a group of 20 and 25 and a group of 12.
Okay.
We see that difference, that even though we're doing all the exact same things, it's incredible, the difference in the connection.
Mm.
And so going forward, we've decided to make our retreat smaller,
Okay.
and we're excited about that.
Yeah.
So really, it's for us right now, it's not about we're adding this whole new
Right.
thing to our thing. It's really about honing and polishing what we already do,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
we launched a lot of this stuff during COVID, which
Mhm.
was crazy, and I think everybody was just holding on for dear life.
Yeah. Yeah.
and we were just constantly, because of the climate we were in, the business climate, we were just constantly grabbing for straws.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do this. Oh, pivot, we'll go over here and go this way. And then all of a sudden, you kind of realize. Um, maybe some aspects of your business, just out of survival, is a little bit like a mutt. I hate to say that because that sounds negative. Not that, but you've kind of just got a little bit of everything because you were just figuring out everything was just so crazy and changing
Yeah.
every other day. And sometimes it's good after periods of big growth or something like we went through COVID,
Yeah.
is to stop, and instead of thinking about what are some other things we can do, is okay, let's look at what we already do, and is there a way we can make those better,
Right.
more quality, even higher
Mhm.
quality, or polish those. And that's just where we are right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, after the throwing spaghetti at the wall kind of thing, right? To see
Yeah.
what sticks and what.
Like,
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's a great place to be in too, to be able to look at it and go, okay, what is working well? What can we be it make it smaller like the retreats, and I can totally see how that would be better to have half the amount of people to connect with then, right? Like
yes.
I love that that's what you guys are doing right now, is looking at that and really focusing on and refining what you already have and what you already do. That's so good. Okay, so where is the best place then for someone to find you online, and what you do? Where's the best place for them to go?
Our website, which
Mhm.
is thecottagetablexperience.com.
Mhm.
We believe in short website names.
Cottage table experience, the cottage table experience. Fair, yeah.
And then on Instagram, I am Cottage in the Oaks.
Okay, awesome.
Either
I'll make
both of
sure.
those places are great places to connect.
Okay, awesome. I will make sure that goes in the show notes so people can connect with you after this if they have any curiosity or interest in what it is you're doing or any of your experiences or any of that. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
on
for
the show
having
today
me.
and talking about this.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's been
been an
fun.
honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's it for today on The Shannon Atchison Show. If you found this helpful, follow the show and share it with a friend. And hey, if you're not sure what kind of business actually fits your life, take the free quiz at shannonatchison.com. It'll point you in the right direction. Thanks for listening. Talk again soon.